Guilty for dropping my newborn baby. Warning, some audiences may find this content disturbing. View at your own discretion. Welcome to the House of Reddit. Today, we share some recent r/confessions posted on Reddit. Guilty for dropping my newborn baby. When I was 39 weeks pregnant, I went into my doctor's office for my last checkup. I was being watched carefully for high blood pressure, and on this day it wouldn't go down even after drinking water and laying on my left side for a while. My doctor decided to send me to the hospital to be induced. I spent the next 5 days in labor, trying every induction method besides cytotech. Nothing was working even after manually opening my cervix to 4 centimeters, and I suspect this might be due to the magnesium drip I was also on for my blood pressure. In the end, I ended up having a C-section. Now, the hospital I was delivering at was a baby-friendly hospital, meaning the babies roomed in with the mother. The nursery was completely shut down unless a baby needed medical help. This also meant that there was no one available to take your baby if you needed to shower or sleep or anything else. My son's father worked overnights and wouldn't take off any time after the birth either. So there I was as a first-time mom, 36 hours out from having major surgery, and still on medicines to lower my blood pressure. I was also taking amitriptyline for insomnia, which the nurse dispensed to me. It was the middle of the night and my son started to cry. I picked him up and we sat down in a chair and I put him on my chest. I must have passed out because I suddenly woke to my baby on the cold hard floor of our hospital room. I picked him up and checked him over and he seemed fine. I was especially worried about his head, but didn't notice any abnormalities and he never developed any bruises or anything. At the time, I know I should have told someone. I didn't because I was so afraid that he would be taken from me. I was so afraid anyone would think I was unfit or couldn't be trusted. I never told my son's father because he was abusive and this was something that would put me at risk to his wrath. So, I never told anyone. I'm deeply ashamed about it. The mom guilt I have feels crushing sometimes. My son is 5 years old now, and pretty healthy but struggles with some aspects of speech. I always worry if the fall affected his brain in any way and maybe that's why he struggles with speech. Logically I know the hospital and my ex failed me when I really shouldn't have been left alone. But I'm just not sure if this guilt will ever leave me. I chose my job over one of my best friends. I've been feeling a lot of guilt from this and figured others could learn from one of the biggest mistakes I've ever made. On mobile, blah blah formatting issues. A year ago, one of my closest friends, one who I had known since we were children, became ill and stuck in the hospital. This was a relatively normal occurrence for her as she was born with a heart valve that didn't work how it was supposed to. She had 8 open heart surgeries by the time she was 26 and due to this, she was obviously very susceptible to illness, but she always pulled through. She had been in there for a couple months, somewhat normal duration for her, when I received a call from her sister asking if we could schedule a day so I could come visit. She offered the following day, a Saturday, where I unfortunately had to work. I tried to get it covered by my coworkers and even reached out to my HR rep to ask her to help for coverage but with no avail. I scheduled the hospital visit the following day on Sunday. I considered saying fuck it, but I was on my last strike before I was reprimanded/fired and unfortunately needed the money. I told myself everything would be fine and went about the scheduled routine. The next day, my boyfriend and I drove down with the intention of seeing my friend, and I was very much looking forward to her being able to meet my boyfriend for the first time, too. We arrived at the hospital and couldn't find her room so I called the front desk. Yes, ex discharged yesterday. I tried to get clarification as I knew she was ill and figured someone would have told me that she miraculously had gotten better, until I checked her social media and what I thought wasn't even a possibility became a reality. She had passed the day prior, about an hour after I was supposed to have seen her for the initial appointment her sister had made. The one that I couldn't get covered for work. The one that I told myself, she will be okay until tomorrow. I lost the only chance I had to say goodbye to one of my best friends. I tell myself that I didn't know better, but her sister calling me should have been a sign. I ended up missing the next couple days of work due to grief, and ironically got the funeral covered so I could attend and missed whatever extra income I was planning on making that Saturday where I chose work over my best friend. I am no longer at that job, and still hold a lot of resentment for that workplace, and overall, myself, for how things played out. If anyone needs to hear this, Money can't buy you second chances. Money can't help you when you aren't there for your kids' first steps, your kids' games, loved ones' marriages and special events. It definitely can't bring someone back from the dead so you can say goodbye. No job is that important, your loved ones and who you are working for. I know this is a shit confession in comparison to others, but this is something that has, and will, continue to weigh on me heavily. I caused my school to be disqualified from a contest. When I was in grade 4 or 5, there was a sponsored contest by a big brand like Pepsi or Coke to gift a school in my province a brand new playground. A new playground was something my school had been fundraising for a long time, because we didn't have anything. The premise of the contest was simple: whichever school got the most votes by an online poll would win the playground. Sounds simple, right? Well, I'm not sure what possessed my weird dumbass to do this, but I first started making fake accounts to just get some extra votes for my school. For some reason that wasn't cutting it anymore, and I got bored. I started to then name the accounts after kids' parents from my school, and make comments in the comments section under the poll. First, the comments would be "good luck, students," and stuff like that. I started to gradually start fake fights between the parents and the comment sections, literally like threads of comments where I would fight back and forth with myself under the names of my classmates' parents. My school was actually in the lead to win. But after days of the fake parent fights in the comments, there was a school assembly where every student had to attend. The principal told us all that someone, me, single-handedly ruined the free playground for everyone else. Because our school got disqualified for the influx of fake votes along with someone impersonating kids' parents and fighting in the comments. The principal said they knew who did it and that person would face extreme penalties, but I never got in trouble. So I just hope somebody else didn't get blamed for it. Hate myself for being black. I hate it mostly just for aesthetic reasons. My friends who know all say I just have internalized racism, but that's honestly not the case. I don't think any lesser of black people and am not racist towards any race. I like lighter skin over darker skin. I like how cute white people look when they blush. Or when their ears get red BC of some emotion. I'm just really into how translucent some of them are. I know it's not all white people too, but still I think that's cute. I like when light touches their skin and it looks like it's glowing. It's called subsurface scattering and happens with most translucent objects, not just skin, and I only know the proper name. BC, I'm an artist and this is a lighting effect we have to keep in mind whilst rendering. With darker skin that doesn't happen as often as dark skin is less translucent. Freckles and red hair. Those happen on black people but looks better on white people. Better cosplayers. I don't need to elaborate. Being heavily into anime as I am probably doesn't help me either. I like European facial features more than more African ones. Especially lips and noses. I like how there is such a variety of hair and eye and skin colors they come in opposed to just brown. I love straight hair. Pink is my favorite color. Honestly, I could go on, but this is bumming me out too much. I think I've gotten my point. Arc rose. I considered bleaching my skin. That is a temporary fix to only a small subset of the problem, plus it could give me cancer, I hear. I used to be very suicidal about this. Not just this though, I have other issues, although this one is the most passing. But these days I'm just so numb to everything. I really wish there was a way I could just be white. Honestly, I would never complain about anything or be ungrateful for anything ever again. I'm an atheist, but I even prayed for it once. I would really be so much happier. I would pay any amount of money, and if the amount is more than what I have, I would work as many jobs as I needed to afford it. But oh well, right, at least I typed this down for once. And it's not that I don't think some black people are good looking, being black just isn't for me. Like even a little bit. And it's not just white, I would also love to be Asian or just any other similar race. Like I'm 100% sure what trans people go through is worse, and I hate comparing my fucked upness to trans people's actual issues. That's just the only comparison I can think of. I honestly feel like race trans. I am a bisexual with no experience. I came out at 14 as bisexual. I've never dated because I was always and still am very insecure about my appearance and personality. I dealt with a lot of anxiety, so it was never really a good time to try and date anyone. I'm also still a virgin at 25 for this reason. I'm a very emotional person, so I wasn't looking forward to losing my virginity to the wrong person. I know many of you think virginity is just a construct and I should just get it over with, but that's not my belief. Only I know what's good for me. I'm saving my vigor the right girl and that's that. All with the exception of one online relationship with a girl. This was my first relationship experience and even though we never met I was so in love with her but she was a manipulative person and left me hurt. I've talked to lots of people throughout several years and I know for a fact I have no emotional interest in men. With men I only experience sexual attraction but with girls I experience both. My biggest fear is when I meet a girl and she finds out I'm still a virgin and haven't had a real relationship yet she'll doubt my interest in her or in women in general and tell me I'm just confused since I have no experience. I really don't think you need to have sex to know your sexuality. If you know it, then you know it but not all WLW think this way. I saw a post that this gay girl put up where she said she was getting sick of girls saying they love girls but yet, she went to put her hand on this girl's thigh and the girl got nervous and she got annoyed therefore she must not really like girls. I'm confused about her feelings on this just because she got nervous doesn't mean she doesn't like girls. Just because she's never slept with a girl doesn't mean she doesn't like girls. It just sounds like she's touching that girl without her consent. Making her uncomfortable but my point is many WLW think this way and I feel like I'm completely screwed. I'm very monogamous and want to get married to the girl of my dreams someday but I doubt it'll happen because of my lack of experience. So apparently we're bisexual. So I've been with my boyfriend for almost 8 years, lived together for 6. We've both always talked about being bi-curious and talked about having a threesome one day. That day finally came back in February of this year. BF met a girl at work and they went to some training things together and got pretty close. We started hanging out all 3 of us. We discussed testing the waters meaning him seeing if she was really into him. So I basically gave him permission to fuck around with her but he kept saying no. But honestly, the whole cuckold situation turns me on. Anyway, one night, it finally happened. It was awesome, everyone had a good time. The next weekend, we did it again, then in the morning, BF said he didn't want to do it anymore. I was kind of upset about it because I was really just starting to explore my bisexuality. Turns out, the reason he was uncomfortable with it was because he wasn't being honest with me. Apparently he did test the waters, multiple times, and just never told me. And that's much different than a cuckold fetish because now he lied to me and I felt like an idiot being the only one in the room not knowing. Took a few days, but I got over it. I wasn't mad that he did it, I was just mad that he didn't tell me. I suspected he had been cheating a long time ago with this girl that I know was trying to get with him but he always denied it. But during this time, I asked him again if he'd ever cheated on me before this. And he said no, I've never done anything with a girl before this. And I just said okay cool. And he said not with a girl. Turns out he'd been taking some turns on the other team very occasionally, starting like 2 years ago. Again, I was kind of upset, but more upset that he didn't tell me. Upset that he didn't feel comfortable enough to just be open about it with me. After everything was out in the open, the threesomes were back on for a few more weeks until she had to move. But goddamn, watching him eat her out and make her come was fucking amazing. Anyway, I've only told one friend about that whole thing and I also told my sister-in-law, his brother's GF, just about the threesome. Neither of them were really judgy about it, but neither of them really approved or understood. Because they couldn't imagine doing that with their so's. My sil was worried about our relationship because this situation could go very badly in the end and for a lot of couples, it's the beginning of the end. But for a lot of other couples, it's the beginning of something great. Everything was still okay by the time she moved so I'm really happy about that. I feel like that was a success and I felt really good about our relationship. I still do. But now, the thing I haven't told anyone. BF has been going out of town here and there for some gay hookups. And I'm totally okay with it, thinking about it gets me turned on and I love having sex with him after he gets back and tells me all about it. So for one, I enjoy the arrangement, and 2, I could never really be mad at him for it because I'm glad he's discovering his sexuality and sucking dicks is something that I'm just unable to do for him since I only have a vagina. So I'm okay with him getting his fill elsewhere, where there's other penises lamau so I'm completely fine with our current open relationship. But I just know that no one I'm close with would really understand. And I also can't really talk to anyone about it because he hasn't come out to anyone except for me and our threesome friend. But she also doesn't know that he's been hooking up with dudes from Grindr, that I know of, and I don't want to bring it up to her because I don't want her telling him that I told her and then him getting upset with me. I'm really bad at keeping secrets, but I've been doing so well with this one. Sharing it with a million strangers on the internet is still considered keeping a secret. If you enjoy this video, please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. If you have any suggestions for future videos, please let us know in the comments below. Turn on the notifications to know when we post new videos. Thank you for coming to the House of Reddit.